Heavy rain leading to flash flooding in Ontario County, and also first responders rescuing people from those raging waters. Canandaigua continues to clean up from the devastating flooding. Good evening to you. I'm Matt Malloy.
And I'm Karen Edwards. Some families forced out of their homes, but Governor Hochul is crediting first responders from preventing further catastrophe. 13 Wham's Carla Rogner is live on Canandaigua's West Avenue. Carla, a much different scene there last night.
Yeah, it looked entirely different 24 hours ago. All of West Avenue here was underwater, and the fire department was in boats rescuing people from their home. It happened after this creek flooded, and you can still see tonight just how fast the water is going, and some families here on West Avenue still can't go back home. This is Angela Knight as she's being rescued by the Canandaigua Fire Department from her front door. Now staying at a relative's, she and her partner Norris are safe and reflecting on the night before.
I couldn't believe what was going on, to be honest with you. I've never been through anything like that. So I was scared also. And plus I was out of oxygen. So that made my anxiety go up too, because I'm like, oh, great. Not going to be able to breathe anymore.
They watched as things went from bad to worse fast. Their upstairs neighbor, Carrie, live streaming the whole thing from their front steps, catching moments like someone's grill floating away in the current.
And when it got dark and we could hear a river rushing by the window, we really started to get scared.
Eventually, the fire department coming to rescue these families by boat.
The water was just getting too high too quickly, and it was just still coming, so we made a decision to remove those folks.
Fire Chief Magnera hasn't slept since last night's flooding. He says about 50 families had to be evacuated, and today the work continues to assess the damage, like in Carrie's basement.
Right now we're working with state and local officials on the code enforcement aspect, going door to door, doing damage assessments and making sure people can stay in their homes, seeing if power can be restored, so working with RG&E, working with NYSEG to try and keep people in their homes as best as we can. But again, you saw the area. I mean, we had water that was up to almost chest level in some areas.
It's been an emotional day for these families, getting a better sense of the damage in the light of day.
I think the highest point was about here.
But they are filled with gratitude for the rescue crews who kept them safe, especially those who got Angela back on her oxygen as quickly as possible.
I want to say thank you. They were quick, efficient, They made sure that we were good. They were great with our pets.
Yeah, they were great with our dogs.
They did everything right in a bad situation.
It could have been a lot worse, but those guys were really professional, and they did everything that we needed, and we didn't even know we needed.
And those families that we interviewed are still staying with relatives and unable to go home. You saw there was still quite a bit of water in one of those basements, at least. I'm told other families that were displaced are staying at a nearby hotel, but cleanup efforts continue here on West Ave. We just saw a crew from RG&E pull up, working to continue restoring some of the power.
We begin this midday with the flash flooding in Ontario County following torrential downpours Sunday. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I'm Dan Schrack. The county offering an update within the past hour after heavy rain flooded parts of Canandaigua. Flash flooding yesterday made some roadways in the city and town of Canandaigua impassable. Right now, emergency crews are still assessing the damage done as the Department of Public Works continues to remove debris from roadways. Thankfully, the county says there does not appear to be any major infrastructure damage, but for the time, intermittent roadway closures should be expected. At least one family was displaced from their home, and nearly 700 others this midday are without power and gas as crews continue safety assessments.
The state of emergencies that are in place right now are largely administrative. What it does is free up the municipal entities to respond in the most efficient and flexible manner possible. It suspends some of our normal bureaucratic rules, for lack of a better term, right, so that we can just do what needs to be done in as quick a manner as possible. We're getting questions about, are the roads closed? Am I not allowed to leave my house? None of that is what these state of emergencies do, right? So in terms of actual impact to the residents for the states of emergencies, none. They can go about their regular duties. They need to follow any first responders that are on the ground in terms of road closures, directions, those kind of things, but they can go about their daily lives. The states of emergency are largely administrative to free us up to respond the best way possible.
The county says residents with questions or concerns can call the non-emergency line at the number on your screen. That's 394-4560.
Now to the crackdown on violence in the city of Rochester. While shootings and homicides are down since this time last year, another crime is spiking. As 13 WHAM's Jackie Napier tells us, Mayor Evans says the city's main challenge right now is car thefts, especially among young people.
Rochester's mayor says while shootings have dropped significantly in the city over the past year, the rising number of car thefts, many times at the hands of young people, is a frightening trend.
First off, we have adults with licenses that have problems driving. So imagine 12, 13, 14-year-olds driving. It increases the danger even more.
Rochester police say in 2023, 114 juveniles have been arrested in stolen cars. The Juvenile Enhanced Diversion Stabilization Program, or JEDS, a new program to help combat the problem, is already seeing results.
We identified gaps in the state's criminal justice system where probation could step in to help bring greater accountability to offenders. We've had 59 youth enter into the program, and just 3 have reoffended.
Under the JEDS program, probation supervises the juvenile until a court decision is made regarding their potential release and connects them with relevant programs and services. Victor Saunders, who heads up the city's Office of Violence Prevention, says he's talked with some of the teens recently arrested to ask them why.
What I've been getting back from individuals that have sat down and spent time with some of these teenagers is boredom. Whatever your reasoning is for being in a stolen vehicle, we do have alternatives and resources within the community.
The city has launched an online campaign called Choose Wisdom to raise awareness about those resources and share impactful stories.
Once you hear about how a stolen car or something affects you, I hope that people would think twice. If somebody misses a dialysis appointment, that has a major effect on their life, on their health and their overall family. That makes people think differently.